Tell us about you and your background.
Hi, I'm Mary Sojian, and I'm a senior at Los Alamitos High School. Yeah.
And your inductee?
Glenn McCormick is my inductee today. I'm really honored to be here. I was really excited when Debbie asked me to do this because I've been so excited to learn about the man who created my dive team. I've been part of the McCormick Divers for 6 years now, and it's just been getting better and better every year. He's undoubtedly loved by his coaches and all of his colleagues, and when I was looking up all of the things that he's done, I couldn't even fit it onto one page when I was typing it up this morning. And so Pat McCormick is an Olympic gold medalist in the 1952 and 1956 Olympic Games, as well as Gary Tobian in the 1956 Olympic Games, and he coached both of them to their victories. And he coached at the 1973 World Championships and was a national and international diving coach. He coached Kelly McCormick, who was a two-time Olympian and Pan American Games champion, and judged at the 1984 and 1986 Olympic Games as well. In 1968, he started the McCormick Divers, which is the team that I'm a part of today, and he created a legacy and a family like no other. He started all of this at the Belmont Pool, which I was lucky enough to be able to dive at for about a year before they closed it down. He is in the Swimming Hall of Fame in 1995 and the Diving Rings of Honor in 2016, which I was lucky enough to have been able to witness. I'm so honored to have been the person to talk about him today. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. And the passion really comes through, doesn't it? Debbie, come on up here. We're going to talk about him. His wife, Debbie, is joining us now. And first of all, what does this mean to you right now?
Oh, I'm all choked up having someone else talk about Glenn because he was the neatest person that I ever knew in my whole life and one of the greatest coaches ever, and he'd be really proud.
What made him such a good coach?
Probably because he was very classy, he was very calm, he was very positive, he never got mad. Of course, if he did, then you were in trouble, but he just had a way of coaching and talking to you and instilling confidence and making you feel like you could just do anything. And he did that for so many. He was a father figure to so many of our kids because we had so many kids that had no dads, and he was everybody's dad. And he was just the epitome of a great man.
I know that he coached so many great divers. It'd be unfair to ask if he had a favorite, but did he have a favorite story about one of his divers?
Ah, geez. Well, I know he was extremely proud of Pat McCormick's 4 gold medals because he coached her. He was extremely proud of his daughter, Kelly, who won several national titles, back-to-back Pan American Games, and 2 Olympic medals. And he coached a guy named Gary Tobian who won the Olympics, but he didn't have the most talent in the world. I mean, he didn't have the pretty aesthetic body, but he was really strong, and he did some very, very difficult dives that no one was doing then. And he did back and reverse 2.5s on 10 meter, and Glenn had never seen the dive, and Gary had to trust him to call him out of the dive. Oh my God. And he ended up winning a gold medal in the Olympics because he did those big dives. And if anyone watches diving today, you can see where it has taken off from since then.
Wonderful. You're going to also talk about the next inductee, but first go to your photo and I'll tell them what it means to be called out of a dive. Okay. For those of you who don't know, if you're doing a reverse dive, you're tumbling backwards. And you're tumbling so fast and you're moving so quickly, it's hard to see where the water is. And you don't want to straighten out falling horizontally onto the water. So somebody has to say, ready, hup. And as soon as you hear the hup, you have to kick out as fast as you can. And hopefully they said hup at the right point so that you land head first in. And obviously the coach was, the diver was trusting his coach on a dive that nobody had ever done before. Nowadays, they make it a little easier on the divers. They put a foam machine. It releases a burst of bubbles in the water so that if you hit bad, it still hurts, but it won't bruise your lung. But in those days, they didn't have the bubbler, and so it was quite a genuine gesture of confidence in the coach. Okay, let's do one more.
I have the honor tonight of introducing Kelly McCormick. I am so excited to be introducing Kelly because just like me, she started out as a gymnast. She didn't start diving until the age of 14, but quickly rose to the top of USA diving. Kelly won a total of 9 national championships, gold at 2 Pan American Games, and medaled at 2 different Olympics. She won a silver medal on 3-meter springboard at the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics and bronze in the same event at the 1988 Seoul Olympics. Looking at all these achievements, it is obvious that Kelly McCormick is an inspiration within the diving community. To me especially, she inspires me because I, just like her, started diving at a late age, and she proves to me that it is never too late to be incredibly successful. I am proud to announce honoree Kelly McCormick because her dedication and determination to excellence are skills that deserve to be honored. Although unfortunately she could not make it tonight, I recently spoke to her and she wants to thank each and every one of you and is honored to receive this award. Thank you.
Well done. You took the time to call her. Debbie, come on back. We're going to ask you some more questions. Kelly McCormick is a diver that I remember broadcasting about, and very colorful character. Tell us a little bit about what it was like to be watching coach his daughter to 2 Olympic medals.
Well, I don't know how he did it, but he was always so calm and cool. It could be just watching a practice. So he never made anybody nervous. He was just, you just looked at him and you could see the confidence. He would smile at you, and that's all you needed, really.
Okay, tough question. How much credit of Kelly's 2 gold medals belongs to Kelly versus coach?
She was tough. She was injured. In 1968, she was in traction for 6 months before the trials, and she wasn't planning to even go because she was in so much pain. And her coach came and said, "You don't want to be a quitter, do you? What are you going to tell your kids one day, that you didn't even try?" So that got her mad. She ended up at the trials. She won. She didn't even have to do the last dive. She was that good.
And what was the father-daughter relationship like? How did that compare to the coach-athlete relationship?
I'd say they were probably closer. They couldn't be any closer. And she just loved spending time with her dad all the time. They were really, really close. And it was really hard for her to be separated from him. And anytime we'd be away from each other, she told me once, she said, "I'm really jealous of you because you get to spend more time with him than I do." So it was really sweet.
Before I let you go, it is your desire to see the McCormick name on a diving tower. Tell us about that.
Oh, yeah. Well, some of you know how hard I've worked to get the Belmont Plaza pool rebuilt. I have put my heart and soul into it. I know City Council voted twice unanimously to have this pool built, and I know it's all about money. It does mean a lot for so many, not just me in diving, but for water polo, for swimming. All of us need the water. It's going to affect hundreds of thousands of kids for years and years and years. And of course, my husband meant everything to me, and I would love to see his name on the diving wall if this ever happens and I'm still alive. So.
Well, let's go get this pool built. What do you say, huh? Thank you so much, Debbie.